It's been 24, maybe 36 hours since I had my surgery yesterday. I got home this afternoon and I've been thinking about what it feels like to be in this position of successfully having completed the surgery and now be in the 3 months of recovery, 3 months of healing. And it's all starting to sink in. Like, it's a little bit scary being back out in the world after the protection of the hospital. And if anything happens, you have the hospital. You have all these doctors and nurses and machines around to look after you. And then you come home, even just getting home, you're on your own. And that is a amazing, overwhelming, beautiful, complicated experience. So, what do I want to talk about it? I mean, if I look at the day in terms of it being 24 hours, last night when the doctor came in to do the ultrasound on my heart to check for edema, for water, kind of a stress sweating that can happen after surgery. I did an ultrasound and I got to see my heart beating. I got to see the different chambers of my heart in motion in real time. And it was awe-inspiring. And it was also awe-inspiring for my friend who was with me because it's such an intimate thing. Um, Even for me, as a person who is not all that soft-hearted or sentimental about a lot of things, it was kind of amazing to see my heart beating and realize I was sharing it with someone. And when you think about kind of the state of my romantic life at the moment and transitions in it, and how not necessarily really being close left me feeling brokenhearted, to be in a position to see my perfectly functioning heart was really a special thing. And so, one thing she told me kind of raised an alarm, though, about how some ventricle or something isn't opening and closing properly, and that she suspects it's not really a problem, that there's people walking around as staff with the same problem, and it's not a problem. It's just something to be aware of and look at every year to see if it changes or progresses into something. That really um, kind of put a little bit of a damper on all the excitement I was feeling about how successful the surgery had, the catheter ablation had gone. But at the same time, it also just made me really grateful because in the hospital that I had so much trouble with, well, first off, they weren't able to um, correct the problem. And they really just caused me a lot of damage and harm at the end of the day. That it's taken a year to get into a position that someone could do something about it because of the difficulty of getting records from them. And so then finding out there's yet another thing. If investigations had gotten this far, I just find it very disappointing and frustrating. And it makes me all the more grateful for how kindly, respectfully, and intelligently I was treated these last 2, 3 days of inpatient cardiological care. It just makes all the difference in the world how you're treated. Things like showing one another respect, those are big deals. They're big values. Um, I have a lot of conversations in the last few months about how I like to be really polite to the people close to me. And I realized that's not necessarily true. The people closest to me, the way my sons and I talk to each other, there's a lot of love in it, of course, because of the attention we pay to one another and the things that we do for one another. But at the same time, there's not really that big need of formality. And so I was talking to someone that I was dating, and they were talking about how they try to be more polite than not. And for me, the politeness, in some ways, hides humanity. Um, what is it? Like, like a benevolent contingency or something, of this idea that um, give a person a benefit of a doubt. Sometimes the wording might not be completely there, or the facial expression might not be completely there, or a meaning, our understanding of the meaning of something. But let's assume that everyone's acting in good faith. Let's start from there. I mean, scientifically, obviously, the population being what it is, obviously that's not the case all the time. But in one on one interactions, if we start with the idea that this person's out to harm me, there's going to be a lot of problems. So I don't think that anybody's out to harm me in a relationship just because they might say something that I might consider offensive. From their point of view, it might not be offensive culturally, linguistically, socially. So, bearing that in mind, I have a deep respect for the way that I was treated and the way I was considered. It was a little chaotic this morning as the final um, release condition. You have to go get a sonogram or echocardiogram, not with the tube down the throat this time. This is on the outside. It's like an ultrasound, I guess. And there were two of us that were going down there. This was like 8 in the morning. And I was just wishing the whole time, let it be me, let it be me, let it be me. And no, I was second. And so the first guy got through after we waited a good 45 minutes. And then after that, I don't know what happened. Um, there's a problem with the equipment. Maybe somebody died. I don't know. I feel like I heard something about that. Like somebody's dead in there. I don't know if it's true. It could have just been sarcasm, people saying this is why everything's held up. Then all of a sudden, instead of just the two of us in this waiting room, there were like 8 people waiting to be seen, and another hour goes by, and the staff aren't really being communicative. People are starting to complain. I'm not making eye contact with the people complaining because I think it's rather rude. The staff are not just sitting there on their hands. Something's going on and they're doing something and they're doing their best. Us sitting out there complaining. Mm-mm. And especially since the staff people are BIPOC, the person running the echocardiograms was an Indian woman. And there was no way that I was going to line up with these complaining white women about whatever. I mean, it was just disgraceful. So I guess around the 3 hour mark, I got sent back to the heart rhythm clinic, the outpatient clinic, and was told that they were going to use the machine over there. And so, I was so tired of sitting, I couldn't. So I'm just pacing up and down the hall. Fortunately, the doctors knew that, yeah, We operated on her yesterday. They know you're in that 6 hour elastic compression band and you have to lay flat. They understand the urge to just pace back and forth. So I just paced back and forth for 20 minutes until it was time for the sonogram. And so we did that. And he confirmed that yes, there is this function of the opening and closing of something, but I can't remember what it is. And it just needs to be monitored every year. Um, and I went back upstairs in time. The the surgeon came by to see me, and she put less emphasis on it than he did, which is an interesting thing about talking to two doctors about the same thing, talking to two surgeons about the same thing. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily a difference of opinion, but I think it's also kind of like that benevolence of it's a difference in communication style. It's a difference in how it's performed. And so last night when she was doing the ultrasound, she explained that she thinks it's a bit of a glitch that's happening at the moment, and that this could be happening to anybody walking around in a healthy body like mine. She's calling my body a healthy body. That really stuck. Um, and that it's not something that she would consider worth worrying about. Uh, that was really interesting, and it was really kind of just sums it all up. Every doctor is an individual, is a different person with a different thought process and different language. So we get my exit paperwork in order, and I have to take blood thinners for 3 months. I explained to her that they do something strange to my vision, and I've heard from other nurses and stuff. I'm not a nurse, but from nurses who deal with cardiology, that it's something that happens. Maybe you can take a different one and maybe it won't cause that, but it's just kind of a process of blood thinners, I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe it changes the pressure in your eyes and your ocular glands. I don't know, but it's a bummer. I don't like that. But the blood thinners reduce the risk of stroke during the 3 month healing phase. Because the ablation did successfully take place. They did find where the arrhythmia was coming from, and they ablated it. I I wasn't sure about how to get home from the hospital. My car wasn't too far away, and but I feel really tired and groggy still, so wasn't up for driving. Um, but I think I kind of made a mistake in the fact that I came out of the hospital. The person I was getting a ride with suggested sitting out in the sun, and I did that, and it was kind of exhausting. It was exhausting because I was uncomfortable, and I I regret that I didn't really clock how I was feeling. And so when we were walking to the car from there, it was more of a distance than I was up for. And at one point, my heart rate elevated and I became terrified. I became terrified that I was having a tachycardia again and that I'd screwed up my healing. My heart didn't race though, it was just a faster beat from the walking, and we were walking a little too fast for me. And that was a real wake up call for me. I'm not going to get into any kind of situation like that again. I'm going to be incredibly mindful about what my expectations are on myself. I know that in the coming days, and it's already actually begun this evening, I'm going to have a lot of discomfort in my body. In the surgery, your arms are put in harnesses, your hands are strapped down, your feet are strapped down, and you have a heavy weight pressing you into the table. It causes a little bit of bruising. And I recall last time that I started having kind of like what I thought was chest pain was actually rib pain, it was bone pain. And what relieved it was doing some very gentle yin yoga. And today I just slept. I didn't get around to doing much stretching. But tomorrow I'm going to stretch. I'm going to take a 10-minute walk maximum in the morning just to get some air. It's really nice weather. And you need movement. And I'm going to go super slow. I'm going to do this after I do some yin yoga. Um, I don't know. For the nervous system, it's good to do it as soon as you wake up. So maybe I will literally just walk halfway down the street and back, a 5-minute walk just to get some light in my eyes. Come back to my yin yoga, like a long yin yoga section, like 3 hours. Uh, because right now I also feel a little bit scared about my heart. I'm hyper aware of my heartbeat. I'm hyper vigilant about it, and that makes me a little bit tense. So I'm also doing some pranayama and some breathing exercises and just practicing long, slow breathing and continuing to process these past days slowly in conversation with myself during my daily recordings. So thanks for listening and have a good evening.